8th, 2022 at about 7:02. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First of all, I'd like to welcome two of our new members who have joined us tonight. They'll be joining us permanently, well, for a few years, and not permanently, in July. Mariah Roy and Linda Darcy, thank you for coming. Okay, we have item number 3, which is our year-end recognition and achievements. And our first piece is our Board of Education scholarship recipient. This was presented on June 4th, I believe. The Board of Education has a scholarship to recognize a student who exemplifies the district's core ethical values. The members of the board personally contribute to this scholarship. Recipients are chosen by the administration, and this year's recipient was Evan Clancy, and who had already received the scholarship. I don't know, is Deb here? Or
behind all my board reporters. Would you like me to read it, Bob?
You can. You can.
Thank you. So I just want to share that there were several reasons why Evan was chosen by the board. And he's an outstanding young man of the utmost character. He encapsulates our district's core ethical values of respect, responsibility, courage, honesty, and kindness. And your counselor said that over and over and over again, Evan. He greets everyone with that smile that he's got on his face right now, and he's always eager to help his peers. He has a strong work ethic, dedication to learning, and self-advocacy skills are all impressive. He's made a positive impact at school and in the community. He's the president of the gaming club, writes articles for the Devil's Advocate, and is a member of his church's youth group. He enjoys working with computers and plans to major in information technology in college. Congratulations, Evan.
Congratulations, Evan.
They might have a couple questions for you, Evan. Come on up.
Where are you going to go to college?
That I don't know yet.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go to some Middlesex Community College.
Right.
Next. Our next award is the CAVE Leadership Award for a recipient for Gage Ravelli, who was not here last week.
He's here tonight.
There he is here. Not only should he be recognized for his CAVE Leadership Award, he is also a valedictorian. He's also received quite a number of academic scholarships. Maybe I'm taking some of your stuff
Nope, you're
away.
good.
And he also received, while he was not here for our last meeting, he received a number of sports accomplishments, first place in some of your 4x400s and stuff. So he's been quite a busy man, receiving a lot of well-deserved honors.
And how long have you been throwing javelin?
I did it once last year for the decathlon when I started this year.
And you're state champion.
Yeah.
As a track coach, is that impressive?
It's pretty impressive.
All right, so I have a few other things to add. I'll suffice it here to say that Gage will be graduating as the valedictorian of the class of 2022 and has achieved an overall GPA of 4.67. He has an incredible work ethic, problem solving and critical thinking skills, and the ability to persevere through the most challenging coursework. He's also an involved member of his school community and has taken on many leadership roles within our school. He is captain of both the soccer and the outdoor track teams this year, and has proven that he is someone that his teammates can count on and lead and support. He is also a member of both the Wellbeing Committee for the district and the Principals Advisory Board for high school. He was selected for both the National Honor Society and the Spanish Honor Society because of his strong academic and leadership abilities and his service to others. He also took the initiative 3 years ago to start a tutoring program for the middle school students in our district. He spends time each summer not only tutoring, but coordinating this program. So congratulations, Dave.
I think I've seen you quite a bit in band performances,
Yeah.
playing a variety of instruments. What all instruments do you play?
In regular band, percussion, then in like jazz band, pit band, and stuff like that with piano.
Wow.
Awesome.
Great job.
I'm going to UConn to major in biomedical engineering.
Good major.
Wow, awesome.
Should we do it now? I forgot to approve the agenda.
Oh, okay then.
So, I'm sorry. I just
stuff.
got so excited with all the recognition that we have to do that I actually skipped an item on the agenda. That is to approve the agenda. I mean, it's more exciting to give out all these awards. So thank you for understanding. I wanted to add something else as
Make a
well.
motion to amend the agenda after public comment to go back and resume our executive session
And
for item, is it B? 3B. It will be 3B.
3B. Yep.
That'll be the new
After the
14.
second public comment.
After the second public comment, correct.
And I would like to add on item 11E, we're voting to adopt a strategic plan. It says on pages 1 and 2, I would just like to add, and possibly the draft strategies. There's 3 pages that are also attached to that.
The descriptions of the
The
strategy?
descriptions, yes. The draft of the descriptions.
So our motions.
No, we could just add the 2 pieces to add onto yours. So we have a motion by Lindsay to amend the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, now back to the recognitions. We are on item 3C, which is a recognition of our reporters. And we have a special gift. You will still be reporting. We haven't forgotten that. So we have a gift from the Board of Education for Logan. Thank you so much. You've spent a lot of time this year putting your reports together and getting us all updated on all that's happening in the school, and we really appreciate it. Thank you, and good luck in your future.
Thank you.
We have the high school Ocean Bowl team.
Yeah.
If you squeeze it, you can bring it
Bring
up.
it up.
That part, yeah.
Hi, I'm Karen Buckley. Pleased to be here tonight on World Ocean Day to share with you the significant accomplishments of the CRHS Ocean Bowl teams. 15 years ago, the first Congressional Ocean Bowl team was formed. And some of you may remember a few years ago when it looked like Ocean Bowl may be done at Coggenchog. I came to the board with other invested alumni and parents, and with your partnership and that of the administration at the time, we were able to save the important program. I've been honored to be the club advisor and one of the coaches since that time, and tonight, I'm joined by 3 others on our coaching team. The heart and soul of the team can be found in the oceanography experts, Lori Martin. For those who don't know it, Lori started the original team here at Coggenchog. Also, we were joined with the coaching team by Megan Sabazic, who is studying marine biology at UConn, and Duncan Bates, who is studying marine biology and marine affairs at URI. Both are alumni of Ocean Bowl and Coggenchog, and back helping coach the team. This year, we were able to field 2 Ocean Bowl teams. For the second year in a row, all of the competition was remote. Team B was led by Captain Natalie Hayward and had members Rachel Hayward, Logan Watts, and Claire Warback. Team B placed 5th in the Connecticut Rhode Island regional competition, which is quite impressive given the young nature of the team and the participants, and that some of the teams who were competing events actually had 5 members, not just 4 like we did. Team A was led by Captain Alicia Lowry with members Tyler Fusco, Lucian Charest, and Dalton Bates. And they played first in the Connecticut Rhode Island regional competition, which earned them a place to advance to the national competition. Only 3 teams in Cognachuck history have gone to nationals: 2014, 2015, and 2022. National competition was made up of 2 different types of competition. One, first being a mock congressional briefing, which required research, writing, and presentations by the students, as well as answering questions from a panel of judges who were pretending to be congressional members. Part 2 of the competition included 2 days of a series of questions and answers similar to the regional competition. At the end of day 1 and the mock briefing, Cognachuck placed in the top 12 teams and earned a spot to participate in the Sunday question session. By the end of the weekend, Team A placed 10th in the nation, a most impressive accomplishment for the small school. We thank you and Cognachuck staff, administration, and the board for your continued support, and we look forward to our competition next year.
The names of the team members, if that's okay, if you can announce their names or have them
Sure.
introduce themselves.
Yeah, they can tell them.
Or they let them, just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Megan. I was the coach of a team, which. Do you want me to say
Why
that?
don't you come down and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Logan, and I'm on Team B.
Hi, I'm Claire, and I'm on Team B. Hi, I'm Natalie, and I'm on Team B. Hi, I'm Rachel, I'm on Team B.
Hi, I'm Dalton, I'm Team A.
Hi, I'm Tyler, I'm on Team A.
I'm Alicia, I'm Team A captain.
I'm Luke, and I'm Team A.
I'm Duncan, and I'm Team B coach.
Lori Martin, coach.
Great job.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Awesome job. Very proud.
You can start with me, but Kevin's going to do it.
Our next item is a recognition of our retirements.
Okay, thank you, Lucy. Good evening. So this evening I'd like to recognize 16 retirees. Several individuals couldn't be here tonight, but we do have the privilege to have approximately 9 retirees here with us this evening. And I must say that having been in the district for a long time, collectively, these individuals are the heart and soul of the district. And I think the great thing about Regional School District 13 is that it has a special culture. And I think that culture is epitomized by supporting each other, by caring for kids, and for going across the distance in all facets of their job responsibilities. And I think this group tonight truly embodies all of what Regional School District 13 is all about. So this evening I'd like to recognize the individuals who are here, and I'd like to start off with the individuals who are retiring from Brewster School. So if Mrs. Murray can come up and help me, assist me in recognizing these individuals, we'll get started, okay? So the first individual I'd like to recognize is Lori Gupa, and if Lori, you could come up, please.
I have some shy staff, but they're exceptional staff, so I'm glad she's coming up. And I'd like to recognize Lori for her 14 years of service at Brewster School. She does get to retire this year, which is very exciting for her, so I have a few words that myself and her teacher Tara has shared about her. So Lori has been a part of the Brewster School team for the last 14 years. As a teaching assistant, she has supported some of our most fragile students, and most recently, our children in our pre-K3 program. Her calm nature has offered a consistent and welcome routine for our youngest learners. It may not always be seen at first glance when a classroom is running smoothly, but Lori's work ethic and behind-the-scenes support has helped the preschool classroom stay organized, prepared, and ready for their day. This kind of work, along with working with students with varying degrees of needs, is the foundation of a successful classroom and paves the way for the learning to occur. Lori's strong work ethic has allowed learners to be successful in all their classrooms. Lori looks forward to the next chapter in her life journey, visiting her son in California, both sons, and welcoming her first grandchild. So Lori has touched the lives of many children and families through the years, and she will be dearly missed, and we wish her all the best in her retirement. Thank you.
Okay, our next staff member from Brewster School is Mrs. Marilyn Sheehan.
Another exceptional human being. Marilyn has supported the students of RSD13 for the past 21 years. She has spent the last 15 years at Brewster School as a preschool teaching assistant in pre-K4. Marilyn has always gone above and beyond for the students she cares for. She approaches all situations, no matter how difficult, with patience and a great sense of humor. She looks for the positive in all students and colleagues, and Marilyn is a model of professionalism. Her creativity, patience, and dedication to the job is endless. She is a valuable member of the preschool and school team and will be greatly missed next year. In addition to the charm Marilyn brings to our learners, she also is an artist. Magic flows from her knitting needles, creating scarves, hats, baby blankets, and animals for colleagues and baby showers, or anyone. Marilyn Sheehan better known as MS by her friends, Martha Stewart, is an incredible cook and baker. Any dish brought in by Marilyn is savored and enjoyed by all. We will greatly miss that part of Marilyn. Marilyn is humble. She does not want to be in the spotlight. And instead of having a retirement party, she baked us numerous treats and wrote a thank you note to her colleagues. Marilyn has touched so many lives and left a lasting impression on so many children and adults. Most of all, Marilyn is a dear friend to many and will be greatly missed. Thank you.
Now, I must inform the board that we've had some retirees with some pretty extensive lengths of experience. And I think anybody who's familiar with education knows the demands of education, knows that you have to really be on your A game every day. Well, maybe not your A game, but at least your B game every single day. And to do this for a long period of time is challenging. And you come to a point in your career when you say to yourself, you know, I've been doing this for 10 years. It's a long, long time. And then time goes by, and you kind of forget where you are, and then it kind of hits you. Well, I've been doing this for 20 years. 20 years I've been working with kids. And then college comes for your students, or you have other commitments as with your family or your friends. And then all of a sudden, the 30-year mark comes. And you say, my goodness, 30 years I've been doing this job, this very demanding job. And I think we have a special opportunity tonight to recognize individuals with those milestones of career service to Regional School District 13. I think we're really in a unique position tonight in that we can recognize individuals with 40 years experience to Regional School District 13. And that's a real milestone, and I think it's just very, very special that we have staff members who choose to stay in our district for 40 years. So without further ado, I'd like to have Mrs. Sharon Burke please come up. And this is Sharon's 40th year.
Sharon began at Brewster School. Together, we began at Brewster School, really, 3 years ago, when I became the principal there. And then she had come from Lyman School after 37 years being at Lyman School. Sharon joined the Brewster kindergarten team and the Brewster family voluntarily as we began to shift to a one-program design in RSD13. She brought a new lens to the school and spearheaded our shift of pedagogy to an educational experience where the arts help facilitate learning and student voice and choice. She joined in our first attendance at the Hot Approach workshop as a school, and her expertise and guidance allowed the team to invite our first artist residency in the fall of 2020 after a delay due to the pandemic. Sharon also helped implement the Brewster Assembly by shaping and offering an artistic view to the assembly. She modeled for our school community and brought the art of Sharon's guitar and beautiful singing voice. We will miss Sharon's opening of the Brewster Assembly with the Hello song. Sharon brings all these approaches to her classroom as well. At any time, you could find Sharon playing her guitar, bringing instruments into her lessons, or singing a song to transition her children. We will miss the pumpkin hats her mother knitted for her students every year, and the charm that came along with it. Families always have shared a love of Sharon's approach, her loving support of their children, and her soft, caring nature. It was my pleasure to work with Sharon in her last 3 years of her 40-year career in education, and I will cherish my conversations, hugs, thoughtful notes, and Sharon's caring nature. She is always there with a note of encouragement and appreciation just when you need it. She will be missed greatly, and we will miss her well. We will wish her well in her next journey. I know she will find an artistic niche that will find her joy. Our best to you in all your adventures. Mr. Ford has perfect timing always. Mr. Ford does have a few words to share with you as well, Sharon. Since he's just perfect with his timing. Exceptional.
I could just take a quick drink of water.
And I'll hold your water.
Yes, thank you. We had an event at Lyman tonight. We had a nice family picnic and concert and art show, so.
Sharon. I want to extend my congratulations and best wishes to Sharon upon her retirement. As you know from Deb, and those of you know Sharon, taught at Lyman School for 37 years, and it was my privilege to work with her for 7 of those years. And in many ways, Sharon exemplifies what people think about when they think of John Lyman. A strong advocate for student choice, voice, and high-quality arts instruction, Sharon was instrumental in supporting our involvement with the Hot Schools Network and the many integrated day strategies and approaches that have benefited our learners over the years. A talented musician and artist in her own right, Sharon brought creativity and joy to her classroom and our school on a daily basis. On top of her dedication to her learners, Sharon is a wonderful colleague. No matter what is going on in her life, Sharon always greets you with a smile and asks about your family. Her caring and warmth will always stand out to me. Congratulations on your retirement, Sharon. I hope you enjoy every minute.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Kevin, can I add that it's more than 37 years and 40 years. I think you were in the district right from the beginning of Congressional. Can I identify that? Like, as a student, So that long connection has served our students so well, and thank you very much.
Actually, I attended Brewster School when I was 6, and I met my first grade teacher, Ethel Chanel. And from the first day I met her, I knew I wanted to be a school teacher, and I never wavered from that path.
Awesome.
And I've been here ever since.
Congratulations.
So we're going to move to a little team approach here now as we recognize the next few retirees. And I'd like to have Mrs. Samantha Winkler come forward, along with Mrs. Jennifer Keene, to do the Memorial School recognition. We have to get organized here for a moment. Okay, at this point, I'd like to have Mrs. Carol Puccio please come up.
Okay, so I want to just say, I could not have been happier being the interim at Memorial, and then when they said, like, the building administrators are going to speak about the retirees, because I got to work with these folks for 10 years. So this is really, like, now they are just moving on, and it makes me feel sad, but, like, from the heart, truly how happy I am for them. So Carol Puccio has been a paraprofessional here at Regional School District 13 for the past 19 years. In this role, she has worked at several schools with many different lead special education teachers and with many, many students. Carol is a steadfast professional who is truly here to be with the kids and for the kids. She forms a bond with her students that is special and unique. She cares about the students, asks them questions to get to know them on a personal level, and is who they are really excited to see when they come through the doors every day. Carol has had the opportunity to be a teacher to some of our learners who require significant assistance, and she quickly becomes an integral part of their lives. I imagine that there are many families in district who have talked happily about Mrs. Puccio at their dinner table when they ask their children about their school day. When students return to their previous schools for a visit, they'll seek out Mrs. Puccio with a hug and a huge smile. And when she sees them in the community, she makes sure to ask them about what new and exciting things they've been doing. Carol truly loves her job, and it shows each and every day. She had been talking about retirement right before COVID, and then she said she just couldn't imagine leaving without spending at least a year going to classes, teaching, and making connections in person with the students and the staff. You'll be incredibly missed, but we're lucky because we're certain that you'll remain an active member of our community. Congratulations.
This next individual has 42 years experience in Regional School District 13, and I think when you talk about institutions, immediately this individual comes to my mind as an institution, so I'd like to, in a very positive way, Mrs. Allen. So, Barbara Allen, Barbara Levesque Allen, please come forward. Thank you.
It is nearly impossible to find words to describe the impact that Barb Allen has had in our school community. She has given an endless amount of time, energy, and love to both her students and staff over the last 42 years as a school social worker. Barb started her career at the high school, worked at each of the schools in the district, went through the transformations as we moved into our current configuration, and has truly found her home at Memorial School. To give some perspective about what 42 years looks like, Barb works with some students currently whose parents she had worked with in the past. With a caseload of at least 20 students a year, she has been a part of over 800 students' educational plans. And that does not count those students who needed a safe place to problem solve and found comfort in Mrs. Allen's office. Barb believes strongly in taking care of the whole child. Back when they were encouraged, she would do home visits. She always has meetings with families to make sure that they're in the know about what's going on in school. She's created share tables for food at lunch, donated her own daughter's clothes to children who are in need, and goes above and beyond daily to make sure that every student in our school has their needs met. She has a way of convincing people to join her in her adventures, as I personally found myself co-leading some holiday talent shows and volunteering for after-school events. She really, truly embodies what we need here in District 13. When COVID hit, she spent endless time figuring out the changing technology to ensure that she would be able to continue to connect with her students. She wasn't too shy to ask questions about how to make the pandemic better for the whole school community. She comments frequently that she's learning each and every day, especially from those younger folks who are coming right out of school, and they have so much to offer. But in reality, she has taught me and so many others more than we can ever explain. Her passion for good goes far beyond just the students. She checks on the adults in the building to make sure that everyone is feeling positive and prepared. She asks about our families, celebrates our accomplishments, and helps us mourn our losses. She is a safe place, an incredible colleague, and a friend. Even now, in her 42nd year, with only a little more than a week to go, she's often the first one in the building and the last to leave. Our community will forever be impacted by the work that she has done and the lives that she has touched. Thank you, Barb, for all that you are, all that you do, and all that you have given us.
So Mrs. Allen, I have to have you stay up here for just a minute. And Lucy and Doug, if you'll indulge me for just a minute or so, I have many Barbara Allen stories out and about there, many urban legends, most of them true. So I want to go back a few years, maybe a couple decades, in my early tenure at Memorial School as the building principal. I think I was on the job for a sum total of about 2 days. All of a sudden, this bus driver comes in, and his face is about the color of that wall over there. And behind him in tow is a young learner, as Doug would say, walking quickly behind him. And the bus driver brings the young learner into the office and stands next to the young learner. And the bus driver says, "Mr. Brough, we have a very serious issue to discuss." So needless to say, the kid made a really, really poor choice in something that he said. And I was informed of what he said. And I see the youngster sitting there with kind of this Clint Eastwood glint looking my way. Like, what are you going to do? About 2 feet from this gentleman, this young gentleman, is the bus driver, who looks like he's about ready to go over and strangle this young man by the neck. Second day in the job, I don't know anybody. I know secretary, and I know a couple of other people. So I said, "Thank you, I will be right back." So I went to my office. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do here? This is just kind of a big time deal. So I did what any good principal does. I went out and told the secretary to make a cup of coffee. It bought me a little time. And I'm here just thinking about all of these aspects of this really tricky, complex, serious type of matter that I have to deal with in about 2 minutes. I asked for a little divine guidance. I asked for a little luck. And then lo and behold, who saunters into the office with her queen wave, Mrs. Allen. So she introduces herself and says, "I'm Mr. Brough, I'm Mrs. Allen, I'm a social worker." And I explained what had happened, and Barbara blushed a little bit, but was unnerved. And I'm thinking, how am I going to figure all of this out? I mean, is she going to assist me in any way, shape, or form? Is this a challenge to my leadership on the second day as a building principal? I'm really flummoxed about all of this. Barbara says, "Relax, Mr. Brough. I will take care of this." And Barbara, in only the way that Barbara Allen could, puts her arm around the youngster, and gently leads this young learner into the conference room. And basically gently shuts the door behind. In 5 minutes, both emerge, and Barbara speaks to me, and the youngster is settled down. And as a direct result of her involvement, we were able to address that issue. It was a serious issue, but the youngster learned from it. And from that day forward, I just had a total new level of appreciation for social work and the fine work that Mrs. Allen does. So as she moves on, I'd like to wish her the best of luck, and sincerely like to thank her for each and everything that she did. She's truly the heart and soul of Memorial School. So thank you, Mrs. Allen. Okay, the next individual I'd like to call back up is Mr. Tom Ford.
Mrs. Davis, would you care to join me up here? It is my pleasure to recognize Ms. Christine Davis as she gets set to retire. As you know, I wasn't sure if I was going to be here tonight, make it in time, and I did in the 11th hour, so I had my prepared remarks. And I know Mr. Bro is quite the storyteller. I'm not going to tell any Chris stories, but there's I know she was like, oh, Tommy's telling stories. They're all good. But it is an honor to be here tonight and to recognize Chris as she gets set to retire. Chris has been, and it's an understatement, an integral part of John Lyman School for 28 years, which I confirmed this morning, just to be safe. And much like Sharon, I've had the privilege actually of working with Chris for the last 10. Chris is a passionate and dedicated teacher who cares greatly for her students and for the John Lyman community. As one of our reading interventionists, Chris has worked tirelessly over the years to help children improve their literacy skills. But Chris is equally committed to her colleagues. She gives freely of her time and expertise and has been an incredible resource to our teaching staff. In recent years, Chris has committed herself to professional learning that has enhanced her own instruction and helped to move literacy practices forward in our district, always with the best interest of learners in mind. It's difficult for me to imagine John Lyman School without Chris, but I am so happy that she will be able to spend more time with her family and to see Chris light up, truthfully, when she talks about her family. Her husband, Bob, who's going to have a pretty good to-do list, I think, in the coming months. Her daughters, and especially her grandson, who we had the privilege of joining us at John Lyman. And I know that was probably, I would say, one of the happiest times of Chris's life, having her grandson be with us as a student. And to enjoy her many outside interests. Chris and I, we share a love of the Yankees, lately to a lesser extent the Giants. It's been kind of a rough stretch. I know Chris is getting ready to really hone her golf skills in the coming months too. So thank you, Chris, for being such a trusted colleague and a friend. And I wish you all the best in retirement. Congratulations.
I've had the pleasure of knowing Chris for the past 5 years and was her direct supervisor for 2 of those years. However, Chris has been a teacher in our district, she's been a teacher for 41 years and has been an RSD13 for 36 of those years, so quite a milestone as well. I would describe Chris as one who puts learners first, who is passionate about her field of reading, one who goes above and beyond, and someone who is a lifelong learner. Chris has taken a leadership role in supporting the district's reading initiative and has become Orton Gillingham trained, which requires a tremendous amount of hours and perseverance to get this certification. We have been fortunate to have such a talented teacher and one who truly supported her colleagues and learners, and Chris, I am going to really miss you. Thank you for all you've done.
And we'd like to recognize now some retirees from the district level. So I'm going to ask Corey to come back up. Just a little extra exercise, Corey. There we go. And at this time, I'd like to have Mrs. Susan Michael come forward, please.
Well, I have had the pleasure of working with Susan Michael for the past 5 years. She is extremely knowledgeable and passionate about science and the environment. Sue has been in education for 37 and a half years. 27 of her years have been in RSD13. She has touched the lives of K-12 learners in our district through her instruction and her guidance. She has also touched the lives of many colleagues and adults as she has walked us all through the NGSS standards, so you'll never forget those, will you? Probably dreams about them in her sleep, and has coached K-5 teachers through the curriculum development and lessons over the past 5 years. Our K-5 science program is stronger than ever due to Sue's leadership in this area. In addition, she continues to be involved in our district as a docent in the outdoor education program and after-school activities such as Ocean Bowl and advisor to Envirothon. We have been extremely fortunate to have had Sue for so many years as a teacher. However, we continue to learn from her expertise in retirement as well. So Sue, you're still a part of us, but we will miss you anyway.
Just a correction, I am not involved with Ocean Bowl. I just support them. Ego in it.
Just applaud it.
Yeah. And I actually taught at least one, if not two, of the board members.
The next person really wanted to be here tonight and was hoping to be here and unfortunately could not be here, but she promised both Corey and I that she would be watching tonight. So Maureen, if you're watching, turn the lights on or off or do something to acknowledge that you're here. Mrs. Dimaggio.
Maureen, this one's for you. I've had the pleasure of knowing Maureen for the past 5 years and have been her direct supervisor for 2. Maureen has been a beloved teacher in our district for 37 years, where she has spent most of her years teaching in the ID program at Memorial School. Maureen is extremely knowledgeable, passionate about teaching and learning, and very creative and innovative in her approach with learners. Her attributes have lended perfectly to becoming our enrichment teacher who serves the grades 4 and 5 gifted and talented learners, as well as all learners at the middle school who want an extension in their learning. Maureen has also been our Math Olympiad facilitator for our middle school learners as well. Her expertise, as well as her positive and upbeat attitude, will be missed in RSD13. So Maureen, thank you for all you've done. We'll miss you.
Thank you.
Would that be Maureen Hamilton?
Yes, Maureen
This is Maureen Hamilton, and I just wanted to say one thing about Maureen. I worked very closely with Maureen in my time as Memorial School principal. She was team leader for 17 years. She was everything for 17 years. She was a colleague, she was a confidant. She's somebody, I'm sure Jen can back this up, that you could go to if you had something you had to talk out. It could be in school related, it could be out of school related, but just a tremendous professional, a tremendous individual. And just a second what Corey said, wish you all the best, Maureen, and thank you for all of your work. Thank you. We also have an individual who we're recognizing this evening who is seated to my left. And to say a few words, Doug.
Thank you, Kevin. So, a late addition to the retiree list. Did you tell us like 2 weeks ago or something like that? Yeah, tonight we also recognize Ann Dimaggio, our Director of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment. I'm not looking at her directly because I don't want to tear up or make her do that or anything like that, but I've only had the honor to serve with Corey for about 18 months, but in that short time, I've grown to admire her knowledge about so many education topics, her specific expertise in curriculum development, her leadership of professional learning, and so many other areas of responsibility here in Regional School District 13, as well as her more recent passion for the learner-centered paradigm, and specifically for competency-based education, and her unquestionable dedication to our learners, and also learners in other places that she's served over the past 37 years. Corey's career has included teaching and administrative assignments in New Britain, Rocky Hill, Westbrook, and here in Regional School District 13. If you know Corey, and I've gotten to know her pretty well, you know that she's a person of action. And so for her, the term retirement doesn't mean slowing down or stopping. Simply means applying her gifts to serve children in other ways. Like many of you, I'm saddened. First, I was a little mad at her, but really I'm saddened by Corey's departure from our district, but I'm also happy for the opportunities that lie ahead of her. And on behalf of all of us, I offer my sincere thanks and congratulations on a most distinguished career.
Thank you, Doug. I just wanted to recognize some retirees who couldn't be here this evening, but I just wanted to, as I said, recognize these for their long years of service to the district. So David Duncan retired earlier this year. David had 42 years of experience across the district as a custodian, the vast majority of that at Memorial School. So congratulations to David. Todd Selva, who's a phys ed teacher at Strong Middle School, also served as a longtime basketball coach for Coggenchag, 36 years experience. Cindy Kuzman, who was a French teacher at Strong Middle School, 20 years experience. Derek Harris, custodian at John Lyman School, 24 years experience. And Claire McCarthy, who's library media specialist, Latin teacher here at Coggenchag, 7 years experience. So I'd like to just recognize them, and let's have a round of applause for all those. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I stopped adding numbers of experience. I got up to 164 years of experience, and that was only through about 5 or 6 of the retirees, so they represent quite a few years in education, all of them. Good luck to all of you. Item number 3F, recognition of our outgoing board members.
First, we'd like to recognize Rebecca.
I feel like a hot second. So.
Well, an important hot second. And I'd just like to read this proclamation for Rebecca. Regional School District 13 Board of Education, Durham and Middlefield, Connecticut. Be it known by all those present that on this date, Rebecca Adams, Distinguished Board of Education member from January to June 2022, is duly recognized and acknowledged for her dedication to the children and citizens of Regional School District 13. And whereas Rebecca Adams has served with honor, hereby concludes this challenge for the responsibility of educating our youth. Be it known that by these words, that her deeds, her positive manner, and enduring good sense will long be remembered and cherished by her peers, the towns of Middlefield and Durham, and indeed our children. And whereas Rebecca Adams served the district as a Board of Education member, her timely expertise and extensive knowledge of board practices and responsibilities will long be remembered as a guide for those that follow in future public service. And whereas Rebecca Adams is a respected and admired leader who willingly stepped up to serve on the Board of Education to fill an unexpected vacancy. Therefore, it be resolved that we, the members of Regional School District 13 Board of Education, on the 8th day of June 2022, celebrate Rebecca Adams and encourage others to do the same, and join in recognizing Rebecca Adams as a leader who made an extraordinary difference in the success of our school district and the advancement of its mission. All of this with our sincere gratitude for her unselfish service. By your actions, you have distinguished yourself and brought great pride upon your community, our schools, and hundreds of children that will love and remember you for all your good work you have done.
I trust Rebecca will stand for our legal counsel.
I know, what are we gonna do now? It's gonna be our
No pressure.
You all know it's really hard to get rid of me, so.
We like it.
We know who to call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. Ooh, this is tough. Yeah, that is. Okay.
We'd also like to recognize Missy Booth, Regional School District 13 Board of Education, Durham, Middlefield, Connecticut. Be it known by those present that on this day, Melissa Missy Booth, Distinguished Board of Education member since 2019, is duly recognized and acknowledged for her dedication to the children and citizens of Regional School District 13. And whereas Melissa Booth, having served with honor, hereby concludes this challenge for the responsibility of educating our youth. Be it known that by these words that her deeds, her positive manner, and enduring good sense will long be remembered and cherished by her peers, the towns of Durham and Middlefield, and indeed our children. And whereas Melissa Booth served this district as a Board of Education member, her commitment to all learners, attention to detail, and consistency with prior decisions will long be remembered as a guide for those that follow in future public service. And whereas Melissa Booth was always true to her word and voted with her firm position on issues, she brought her passion and energy to the Board of Education. She was an advocate for student safety throughout COVID, and whereas Melissa Booth demonstrated her tireless work ethic on many subcommittees for this board, most notably building educational resources, human resources, playground, policy, student achievement, and utilization committees. And whereas Melissa Booth is a respected and admired leader who will be greatly missed by the Board of Education, therefore be it resolved that we, the Board of Education in Regional School District 13, on the 8th day of June 2022, celebrate Melissa Booth and encourage others to do the same, and join us in recognizing Melissa Booth, a leader who made an extraordinary difference in the success of the school district and the advancement of its mission. All of this with our sincere gratitude for your years of unselfish service. By your actions, you have distinguished yourself and brought great pride upon your community, our schools, and hundreds of children that will love and remember you for all the good work you have done.
I'll still be
know you'll
around.
be here.
I just don't have to sit here. I can watch from home sometimes.
We would sorely miss if you weren't
Yes, back
out
in the
there
audience again.
sharing.
Well, you know, it's only been 3 years, but really I feel like it's been a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
I
You've
made
spent-
it there,
you spent
and
10
then if
years
I didn't,
together with everyone for
and then
3
if I
years.
didn't say something, they'd say, Missy, are you sure you don't want to say anything? So, you know, it's been a rough road. I think I probably joined at not the greatest time with COVID and all the changes that our district has been through, but I've been a proud member to sit here, and it's a lot harder to sit here than a lot of people think it is. And to get bashed on Facebook and things like that, you have to have some tough skin. But I mean, I have done it for the learners, and I've done it for my kids, and I feel like I've also been a voice for the community who, just because you don't feel the way they feel doesn't mean that you shouldn't stand up for them. So I guess my advice to you all is just do what's right for the kids, not because it's the easy choice, but because it's what they deserve. And you guys have some hard work in front of you, and I don't envy it, but I will be around.
Thank you.
Well, just thank you all for the respect and indulgence during this short period of time. I was happy to do it, you know, didn't have to drag me kicking and screaming, but I'm glad for the next phase that someone else will come in and spend that time to really put into this amazing place where I went to school. I had Lori Martin, she was Lori West. She took me, my mom probably regrets it, through my first stream looking for salamanders when I was very Pollywogs, exactly. So, you know, it's a great place with great people, and I'm glad to have been able to be a part of it, even for just this short period of time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
will encore our high school reporters, Nora, Logan, and Rebecca. You're on.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
First and foremost, I wanted to thank all of you for the unwavering support over the past 13 years. It's been such an honor to work with all of you. I know it has been a rocky past few years as board members, but just know that your hard work does not go unnoticed, and we so appreciate your service, whether it is spent dissecting the budget or supporting us at our choral concerts. Next, I would like to introduce one of our board reporters for next year, Christine Waterman. Christine is the absolute best. She has been like a co-president of class council to me, and she is one of the most kind-hearted people I know. She's a powerhouse too. There wasn't a single time this year when Christine failed to help the community. She went out to bat for students throughout RSD13, whether it was through a class council event or even just in the classroom. You guys are lucky to be gaining such a superstar. Thank you.
And whatever. There, oh, it says. Okay. It's on my phone. Okay, before I say who's going to be replacing me, I'd like to also give a quick thank you to all the board members for attending the home games for all sports. And I even saw some of you at the cross-country meets, which nobody wants to go to those, so. They are. It's very obvious that each and every one of you cares deeply for the development of this community, and I'm grateful for the opportunity I was given to be a reporter this year. Now, on to introductions. Next year's sports reporter is my successor to the cross-country captainship and a great athlete all around. He's a great leader and role model for all the underclassmen to look up to. I'm sure he will do an amazing job, and I wish him the best of luck next year. I'm proud to announce Hayden Gonzalez as one of the next year's board reporters.
Bring that back down again. Before I introduce the incredible class of 2023 music representative for next year, I would like to take a moment and thank you all for the amazing work that you do. You care for all students and want the best for them, and I thank you so much for that. We appreciate every school event that you attend and every action that you take to get opportunities for us. I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to be your music representative this past year, and I will miss speaking to all of you each month. Next year's representative is one of the best people I've ever met. She's kind, talented, brilliant, dedicated, and so much more. I only ever see a smile on her face and joy in her heart. I know she's going to do incredible things in the future, starting with being one of the best reporters you have ever had. This is why I am very excited and proud to announce Catherine Taylor, who's hiding behind me, as next year's Cog and Chog music reporter.
Very good. Thank you so much, and welcome to Christine, Aiden, and Catherine. We look forward to hearing from you next year, and good luck to the three of you. And where are you headed after Cog and Chog?
I'm going to UNC Chapel Hill next year.
Nice. Okay. Well, do you know what you'll be majoring in?
Biomedical engineering.
Nice.
Go science.
Good major.
Go science.
I'm going to CCSU for economics.
Technology, okay.
And I'm going to Emerson for musical theater.
Awesome.
Great job, guys.
Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is public comment. At the beginning of the meeting, the public comment refers to items that are on the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Anyone? On here?
Good evening. I just came out this evening because of some of the policy changes that will be voted on possibly this evening. And I don't know how regularly you review the policies, but if there is a set schedule, it might be helpful in regards to getting information out. And again, following through with communication for outside the school district. Because in the end, most of the policies impact students, parents, and the public. So with that said, I would just like to reiterate, having heard from Lucy that minutes are required to be posted 7 days after the meeting takes place, your formal board meetings. I would like to see that happen because it was very difficult to try to follow through on what your discussions were when not able to attend them. And with that going on to the next meeting that might be also relevant to what had previously taken place, I think that's very important that we keep in mind to be timely. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak? Yes.
Susan Michael. I'd like to invite you as a board and the administrators to meet with me at Brewster Field some afternoon or evening to show you the work that I've been doing with grants I got from Congressional Valley Education Foundation and some goals I have for the future. As the leaders of the properties, it's your role to take care of them. I look at them from an environmental and educational view, and we're battling a lot with invasive species. And the trails, while I've been doing my job the last 7 years, I've just been taking care of them. But if something happened to me, all of a sudden you'd be very surprised at how quickly those trails won't be there. So I just would like to give you a tour of what's been going on because it looks really nice. I, in my start to retirement, I'm getting the Master Woodland Manager certification from Deep Yukon and Connected Forests and Parks. And as part of that program, I have to have a project. And I've been focusing on the Brewster Forest and the property to the north. I'm gonna need your endorsement or support to do work on that property. So I'd like you to see it before I get a permission to start, but I'm like, I am doing it. But I think if you know what's there when I ask, not for money, but for the permission to work on the property, that you'll understand why and the value of it. So I know, when things lighten up and everything's kind of settled, I'll be around all summer. Just call me and we'll set up a time.
Susan, can I ask that could you send us an email, perhaps with some way to be able to reach you, outside of Region 13, either your personal email or something, so we can get in touch with you? Send it to the board members.
On Dunhill Road. So it's walking distance to Brewster.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
I will do that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, hearing no one else, I just wanted to say that for the last hour, we spent, before we got to public comment, for approximately an hour, we spent recognizing and honoring all the accomplishments of not only our students, but also our staff members who are retiring. And I think that's wonderful for us to be able to have that opportunity to have that. It's the best hour of our meetings. Nothing personal. Okay, item number 6.
With that said.
Yeah.
Nice introduction for Doug.
Oh, I'm not next.
No, I'm just kidding.
Item number 6 is approval of minutes, and I will ask if there are no amendments to the May 11th regular meeting, the May 23rd district meeting, and the May 25th regular meeting. I'd like to have a motion to approve all 3 together. First of all, are there any amendments to any of those? There is. Which one?
23rd.
The The 23rd. Anyone else having an amendment?
No, I did, but Meg fixed it before.
I wonder
Okay.
if it's the one, or did she fix it before she sent it?
I think she fixed it before, unless it's just a spelling
What-
error.
Okay, this is a grammar, like,
Okay.
doesn't make
Okay.
sense error.
So we can have a motion then to approve the May 11th regular meeting and the May 25th regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
So it's moved by Lindsay and seconded by?
Me.
By Missy, to approve the May 11th and May 25th minutes as submitted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so those are done. Now, let's go to the May 23rd. Missy, you said you had an amendment?
Someone wants to make a motion?
So, yes.
To approve? Yeah. So I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 23rd.
May 23rd.
Second.
Okay. And any discussion, amendments?
So on page 3, second paragraph, it reads, Mrs. Dahlheimer added that moving the field house to Capitol allowed the building committee to take a long, hard look at the project and get it vetted out. Second sentence, it says, it also allowed for it take to be spread out over more than 1 year. So some of those words are weird. So, do you have it printed out, Lindsay?
Yep.
So tell me what you want to say. It's the second paragraph, on page 3, second paragraph, second sentence.
In the second paragraph?
Second paragraph.
So page 3, second paragraph.
Page 3.
Oh, it also allowed for it to be spread out, so take, or it to, take out.
Take out.
So would you
Spread
take
out over more than 1 year. Yeah,
Remove
so
the word
just-
take from the second sentence of the second
So
paragraph of the third page.
Okay, so
And
we're
I'll
gonna
second.
I'm representing Victor. Somebody else has to represent us when I leave.
That's
So,
true, but who are you passing that down to?
I mean, I don't know. Take your
I
pick.
think you can appoint him.
So we need a motion.
How about Mariah? You want to do it? Mariah, look at it.
I kind of skimmed them. So we need a motion to approve the May 23rd, 2022 district meeting minutes as amended.
So moved.
So we got Lindsay and
Second.
Rebecca. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I don't think we have to have another motion. Our next board meeting is July 6th at 6 p.m. I know we do have one on the books for June 23rd. We are not canceling that at this time, but we might in the future. We're just going to leave it there for now. But we are planning on meeting on July 6th. Item number 8, committee reports. ACES.
So, I started serving on the ACES governing board, which is one of our committees. It's a one appointment. My predecessor, Norm Hicks, was doing it for so many years. I've had 2 meetings with them, and it's an amazing organization. They truly do so much good for the community and for our district and the 25 districts in central Connecticut. It's, for the ones that don't know, it's adult and vocational programming. They do inter-district programming for the 25 different districts. And what it comes down to is they operate schools designed to meet the specific needs of our districts. And at this point, currently those needs are special education and the inter-district magnet schools. And as a regional service agency, they develop solutions for all of our most pressing issues. We've gone through, even in just 2 meetings, from expulsion hearings to the budget. It's amazing to see that this started out as 2 staff members, I think, when it originally started, I think in the 70s, all the way now to an $87 million budget. In our district, just to put in perspective, we have 2 students, I believe, at this time within ACES. Does that sound about right? But it's been really neat to meet all these different board members from representatives of like 25 different districts. And I'm already on one of the committees, and they've been really welcoming. And they remind me every day that they miss Norm. Which he was invaluable to, so it's been really great. I think the schedule for them starts again. We just had a meeting the other day, but I think not until September, so we have the summer off. That's all I have for now.
Thank you.
Lindsay, ACES also helped manage our charter program and our recognition program. So they were the facilitators to get us into the school and had the program and still have a relationship with us on that aspect.
Okay. Item number 9, Superintendent's report.
Thank you. And Maureen, you were requesting a long report? Is that
Yeah,
what you were
definitely.
requesting?
I think we all agreed on that.
Okay, so since there's 2 of you left, Sue and Corey, I would like to congratulate and thank all of our retirees. Maybe some are home watching now, I have no idea, but I want to echo Lucy's comments. I think you get a group assembled in the room like that, all that knowledge, all that experience, all that history, some in district, some out of district, but in the profession, and I appreciate that you as a board take the time to do that. I think that's really important to do, and I also know that many of them are being recognized in other ways at their schools, at private events, and I hope everyone has a chance to participate in those as possible. I also want to thank Missy, who's over here now, used to looking at her over here, and Rebecca for your service to the board. Rebecca, I know it was brief, we barely got to know each other, but people that step in for short spans, I mean, that's no picnic either necessarily, I wouldn't think. And you did that at a time when, Bob didn't want to leave and you were there to step in, and I just appreciate all that. Missy, I appreciate the 18 months we've had to work together. And beyond your service to the board, which I think others have spoken to, I would just like to say a couple things. I guess I got to be careful how I say some of these things. So when I was interviewing for this job, I didn't get a lot of interaction with the board. It was on the Zoom, and their screens were black, and this was all the way the consultant did it. And I mean, for better or worse, here we are all together. I think it worked out, but I do recall at the end of that 4.5-hour second interview, asking to get to know the board members a little bit, and each of you did that, which was awesome. But when you said you were a physical therapist, I already was interested in coming, but that made me want to come more because, as many of you know, I've had a long-standing relationship with physical therapists and physical therapy because of some of my hobbies, and also because I just feel like, and maybe not every physical therapist, but the ones I've been honored to kind of work with when I'm injured or things, I just think it's a model of this kind of learner-centered education and where we want to go, because it's goal-oriented and it's personalized, and you guys listen, and you also treat and you equip and you empower, and that's something I said at Convocation last year. And in addition to that, all of you who were involved in hiring me were very helpful in my transition. But Missy has the particular honor of having given not just myself, but my wife Denise and our daughters all kinds of good referrals to dentists, doctors. We've needed a lot of them, unfortunately, and even a physical therapist. She wouldn't treat me herself because that would be kind of weird, I guess, but might bridge the relationship. But all kidding aside, when you move to a new place, that's the stuff you kind of take for granted, and it was very comforting. And in addition to that, Missy checks in with me every so often, and doesn't ask me a board member question. She just asks me, how are you doing? How's your family doing? Are you guys happy here? And thank you for that, and for all that you've done.
You can still text me.
I still will. Yeah. I'm sure there's other things we're gonna need. So thank you for that. Mariah and Linda, thank you for being here and hanging in. Looking forward to our meetings next week to get to know each other a little bit better. And anything I can do to help you get up to speed with your work with the board, I think that would be true for everybody at the room, except for maybe Corey because she's leaving. But even she would probably do it over the next few weeks if you ask her. And that includes board members, staff members, all of us. Not easy to come into a board, no matter what your background or experience is, and try to mold into a team, and also to realize that the team changes when the two of you join us, and we welcome that. We welcome you to that. Looking forward to that. Again, none of them are here, but if any of them are watching, I think that since, well, even if this isn't our last board meeting in June, which I hope it is, but it's definitely our last board meeting that I know of prior to the end of school. So I want to congratulate all of our learners and their families on what, as was said by some of our reporters, not necessarily an easy school year, but certainly one that has been successful. And I especially want to congratulate, even though they've all left now, the class of 2022 for what they've been through. Also to our teachers and other employees for making education happen amidst COVID. It's very easy, because I was talking to the chamber this morning, like, we've been mask optional now since around the 1st of March, and it's very easy for me and maybe others to kind of forget what it was like 3 months ago and 6 months ago and 9 months ago. And I've said this before to this group, I said it to the chamber, I'm gonna say it again. I feel like every day that we got through school was a victory. It was a victory, because there were so many days, and all of us know this, but Jen especially, when we're like, my gosh, are we gonna be out of school tomorrow? We have tomorrow, and then we took all these trips, which were great, but it's like, oh my goodness, what's happening? And it's a victory. And having said all that, I am really hoping we don't have to go through this again next year, or really any time that I'm in education, because really it's just, we did what we had to do, but it took our eye off the ball for the work that we all are kind of, I think, sitting around this table or out in the audience or in the community doing. So moving forward, just a few things. We've given lip service to this, but we're actually doing this. And I can't promise it'll be amazing first out of the gate, but we're doing it. We do have an end-of-year digital newsletter, kind of first of its kind, at least in my time here, that we feel like is something that we'd like to offer, not just to our families and employees, but to our community. And you all can help us with that. We've mentioned this before. We do have the capability through our Parent Square for people to sign up under a community access. And so probably tomorrow or Friday, Ken and I are going to work with Meg and whoever else to get a regular Parent Square out to ask everyone who gets those to forward that to anyone they know in the community who might be interested in receiving updates, not just newsletters, but things that we want. We've heard this through the budget process and other things, and we would like to do that for the community, but we don't want to inundate people with stuff who don't want it. So it is an opt-in. You don't want our stuff, don't sign up. But there's lots of people who have said they wanted that, and this is one way we can do that. And I want to thank the staff for putting the digital newsletter together, because really that's been done on short order amid so many other competing things. And we want your feedback on that, if you like it, if you don't like it, if you think it should be different, because this is something we want to do periodically going forward, which some of you have suggested and others in the community have also suggested. A few other things that will go down into item 11, so I won't dwell on them, but to let you know that even though the school year ends, the work of the district doesn't. We're going to double down this summer on strategic planning and our action teams. We'll talk about that a little bit maybe later. I'm hoping that we're going to streamline board meetings a bit and committee meetings, but wherever that lands, we're going to be there with you. And the one that I think has drawn maybe the most attention now that we kind of crossed the budget threshold is what I'm going to call facility planning. Others have termed it other things. They've called it grade level configurations. They've called it one program choice. They've called it maybe the closing of a school. Maybe they've called it the closing of John Lyman. But in my mind, it's facility planning, and for better or worse, I did part of my career in a very large district doing facility planning, and I've been engaged in it also in my previous district as a superintendent. So this is a high priority item, and I want you all to know that as superintendent and us as a staff, we are not sitting idly by on this, but there is an important first step, I believe, that we would like to initiate starting tomorrow with your consensus. Doesn't require your approval. We talked around this, and we would like to go out and update our enrollment forecasts. I don't believe you can have a serious discussion about facility planning and where children may attend if you don't have that data updated, and what we have is several years dated, I'd love to do it for you. 2 districts ago, I did that work, and my team did that work in-house because we were a larger district. But I don't have the time, and I haven't done it in a while. So I would love it if we could authorize Kim to go out and get that done, and the price tag is roughly...
I got 2 quotes, between 6,000 and 8,000. The lower one was a company who's done it before, so had a little bit of history on us, more history.
The money is in the budget, doesn't require a vote. We just, again, we don't want to go forward and have people say, why are you doing that now? The reason we're doing it now is we feel like it's time to do it and get this discussion revitalized, not just with the board, but in the community. So I thought I would get head nods on that. I don't see anyone disagreeing.
Yes. I think we talked about at some point, maybe using a different firm than we used for the last enrollment. Was that?
I have 2 quotes.
Okay.
But I will certainly do that. I don't
So the higher
remember
price
that,
is
but-
the company that we haven't had.
Because they have to
Because
be
they
just a
are
little
starting
bit
fresh.
more,
Did you have a
But I
preference
believe
on
that was
it?
Malone and McBroom. I don't believe they're in.
They are no
business
longer
anymore,
in business,
so-
but the person who did it, Mike Zuba, is now with, gosh, I don't know, it's Chip Dumas, his firm, and he still does that. And then there's another company, but they're actually located in, I wanna say, their headquarters is in Florida, but they do work in Connecticut, Rhode Island. I called a couple other places and didn't get any response. So
The
just
last firm is pretty accurate.
They've been accurate,
So
yeah.
there's
I
been
don't,
2 or
I don't,
3
I never
people.
heard that, we didn't like his service. I
Yeah,
thought
maybe it
was
wasn't
great.
the enrollment, and maybe it was just. where-
Yeah.
I think it was the facility study,
Yeah.
facility
Yep.
study.
Okay.
That's a different,
Yeah.
and that's
That's
what
a
we're
whole
talking
different
about
thing.
now. We're talking about before we can
Just
even
the
get to that
demographic.
stage, we have to know, and you all have to know, to Bob's point, is the trend line still the same, and how does it break down for grade levels and all of those things? And who we pick is fine. The methodology, everyone uses the same methodology. It's the cohort progression model, and it's, you know, it's a highly mathematical thing, but I'd be shocked if anyone didn't do it that way.
Just for the record, when was the last time that it was done?
2019, November.
Yes, I mean, wouldn't this be about the time to do it anyway?
Yes.
Even if we
yes.
weren't having such a
Sometimes,
serious.
some years it's a big study, some years it's just a simple update.
I think I can say for the board that you have our blessing to go
Yeah.
ahead, go
Okay.
forward.
And
Yeah,
and
as soon
whenever,
as
I don't know
possible.
how long it's gonna take to turn that around, but whenever it's available, we'll present that or have the firm present
Maybe a
that.
month or two.
Yeah, it could be July, August, but that's the start of the discussion. And you know, just to reiterate where I think we all are, it's about educational excellence and it's about fiscal responsibility. And I don't believe those two are mutually exclusive. And I also believe we can come up with a solution that also supports where we believe we're going with our district, with our strategic planning and our reimagining. I don't believe those are like competing interests. I think they can all align, but the community's gonna have to agree with us, and you all are gonna have to agree with each other and with us. So the staff isn't gonna sit idly by over the summer, even absent the forecast, but we can't do a whole lot with it either until we get that hard data, because we don't wanna start thinking about recommendations that are either, you know, not validated or not even sound in that. So, that's it. I'm done. Is that quick enough, Maura?
Yes, perfect, thank you.
Director of Finance report, Kim?
Yes, so our general fund has been expended 84% as of the end of May, and our revenue, we have received 90%, 97%. In the month of May, we received our full bonding, that $6.9 million that we had authorized back in 2019, and we did receive it in the month of May, so we have that money now in the Capital Reserve Fund. And back up to the general fund right now, I'm going through the process of closing out all the purchase orders that are no longer gonna be fully expended, or the ones that had 84 cents left on it, cause it came in a little bit less than, you know, what the initial purchase order was. So, we're working very hard with the schools to get those closed up so that I can have a better, idea of where we are for our end of the year position. I wanted to just mention something quickly about the bus. We've had a couple of this week especially, we're only Wednesday, a couple of rough bus weeks. It's been tough all year long, and I just want to thank the parents, I want to thank the secretaries, I want to thank the kids and the bus drivers, because it's been a tough year and everybody's really just rolled along with us, and you know, I think I really thank everybody. We were down a couple of drivers this week. We've got some drivers coming in from different towns, and they're taking wrong turns and this and that. And we've gotten down to the level where we have to take buses and take stops 1 through 10 and put them on this bus, 11 through 12 on this bus. So it's like really orchestrated, and they're knocking it out of the park, the bus company and the secretaries. So, and I'm sorry to the parents. We try to be as in communication as much as possible, let you know when your kids are going to be late. We always know where they are. But I just want to thank everybody for, we've got a week and a half. So hopefully September will bring us some more drivers.
And I think too, even the small times that we've seen when there have been issues, like it really, to me, considering all those issues, has been pretty seamless. So, respect to you guys, have been doing a really great job at that. Thank you.
I can't take any credit. It's the bus company and it's the schools. They're doing a great job, and the kids themselves. On another topic, free lunch. We talked about universal free lunch last time, the last meeting. I still don't have any direction from the state as to what they're going to do with that $30 million. So just wanted to give you a little bit more information than I did last time, but I will keep it brief. I had said the last increase was in 2016. We went from $3 to $3.50. We're going to be losing, right now, a free meal reimbursement is $4.56. Going back to the original pre-COVID is $2.91. So we've been getting $4.56 for every meal. We're now going to get $2.91. So obviously that combined with supply chain issues and higher costs of everything. And in the past, Mark did a great job, but we were kind of circling the drain for quite a while. Better than most. But so I'd said, okay, we need to start looking at lunch price increases, and I know it's not a great time. And that's why I'm coming to you to say, what do you want to do? So we could increase lunch prices to $3.85, so that's a 35-cent increase. It's still not going to be enough. But that's kind of the trajectory the district was on prior to the pandemic. And then we would not increase again until 2025. If we went with an increase to $4 a lunch, that's going to help us considerably pay the bills. And then we wouldn't increase again until 2027. So it's higher, but it's going to buy us more time. Or we don't increase lunch prices, and we're going to be looking to the board to help supplement the shortfall. So I don't know what that'll be. It could be $50,000. It could be $100,000. So I might be coming back to you saying, now, free lunch has given us a little bit of a buildup in our cash account. So we're able to carry those funds over to next year to help us with this burden. But having said that, Mark has also come to me and said, I'm going to need some new equipment. My equipment's getting old. And we wanted to kind of maybe use some of that money that we got from this year's free lunch and buy. He needs some sneeze guards. He needs some warmers. He has some things that just are not working. And if the state came out, we could get in violation. They're doing the best they can. But it's not always the efficient way to do it. So he has a couple requests on some funding. So I'm not going to ask you to decide tonight because it's not a vote on the agenda, but I like to just give you the information so that when I come next time, maybe I'll have information from the state, but then maybe next time I'll come and say, these are the things that are aged, these are the things Mark would like to buy. Should we buy them with the money? Are you committed to helping us if we get into a shortfall, or we just wait and budget in future cycles? We have not budgeted since I've been here for any kitchen equipment at all. And I don't even know how far back. I think 2012, I think Mark said, was the last time he got like a freezer or something. So it's been a long time.
We just went through this, every district's going through this. Our board did not approve the increase because we didn't roll it out. Didn't get rolled out the way you did it, Kim, which was sort of like, let me tell you what's happening. But we do plan in New Milford for our equipment and that. So I would just say, like, you've got an opportunity here to just really take a look internally and then give the board some information about that. But I think we're all in that same spot. That free, the free lunch was fantastic. It was needed. But with the supply chain issues and the fact that we're all in many, many ways going to be cleaning this up and paying for what had to happen to get us through the pandemic anyway, that, you got to look at some of those things. You're going to make whatever decision you make, but you need to be informed, and everyone's going through it. We're all in the exact same spot. It was very nice. I actually had people who can certainly afford to pay, but sort of say like, well, it was so nice not to have to pay. And I'm like, yes, it was really nice not to have to pay. Now we have to figure out what we're gonna do. So, you know, just a shout out to you. I mean, there's a lot going on.
We also cannot deny any student lunch. We cannot offer an alternate meal, so no cheese sandwiches or anything. And we also, at the end of the year, the general fund must pay the school lunch fund back for any deficits in the fund balance. So if a child doesn't pay, a parent, not a child, but if a parent doesn't pay for their lunch deficit and the year ends, the general fund has to reimburse by law. And then, let's see. And then the other thing I'm
Kim,
losing
when was the last time we raised the?
Oh,
lunch
2016,
15?
by 50 cents. 16.
No, it was 350 and 16.
2016.
2016, yep. So then, and the next thing, Lucia, I had asked if maybe I could talk a little bit about security. And I actually read a news article this morning, I think it was in the Register Citizen, no, what is that, Times, about school districts who are not submitting their safety plans, and there's 16 in the state of Connecticut that have not, and they will not name them because they will not put them in jeopardy, but we're not one of them. So if you read it, just know it's not us. We do submit it every year, and also it's tied to our school construction funding. So if we don't submit our safety plan, we don't get funds for school construction. And it doesn't make sense how that is correlated, but it is. So just know that we are up to date on that. But aside from that, we've expended year-to-date, well, I want to say year-to-date, that's actually from the inception prior to my being here, about $666,000 on security. Now, 130,000 of that, 131,000 came from grants. And the grants are matching grants. So we had to put out some money, 47% got reimbursed for Durham, 48% for Middlefield. There have been 5 rounds of security grants, and we got awarded 3, the first 3 rounds. 4 and 5 I applied for, we did not get any funding. So just wanted to get you up on there. Some of the things that we've done with that 666, without going into any detail, is buying cameras. Interior, exterior, we've got card readers, we've got security fencing around our portables and our courtyard here in Congressional. We've got 2-way radios, security lights, security window film on all the lower windows, fobs, CCTV, closed circuit TV, cameras, I said that, school resource officer. We have lock boxes with fobs and maps in each of the schools. We've got universal cell phone coverage, antennas. We've got sign-in kiosks, exterior signage here at Cogginchog, and we've upgraded our camera and buzzer stations at all the schools as a alternative to the vestibules that rose up to be more than 100% cost and price. So we worked out an alternative for that. We have open door alarms here, so if it didn't, and during COVID they were deactivated because there was a lot of mask breaks, but now they're coming back. If a door opens somewhere in the school, the office gets an email. I think the SRO does too, so they immediately go and check it. And
is that just at the high school that the
isn't it strong too?
Every school.
It's every school. Thank you. It's every school.
Thank you.
We have panic alarms that are going to be installed in all the offices. We did order them, but the computer chips were back ordered, but they did just come in. So those will be put in June 20th and 21st. We've got handheld radios with programmable emergency button that will then work with the panic alarm, and then once the panic alarms are in, those can be programmed. We've reprogrammed the door access, so then there is a lockdown. No one can get in except for first responders. And we've color-coded the hallways and put maps in the lockbox so that there's the blue hallway, the red hallway to help first responders. We've done some training in the past, run, hide, fight training, run, hide, fight training with the state of Connecticut. And that started to happen, and then COVID happened, and so Mark Hesseltine, our SRO, has begun to talk about starting some of that up again with us. We also had training with Department of Management, Emergency Management, Homeland Security, and we were going to look into some round tables and some tabletop exercises and things like that. So this is all, now that COVID is hopefully over, that we're back in person and we can do these things. So we have the discussions ongoing about training. So, you know, if there's anything that, you know, we did an exhaustive list of different things and looked at a lot of different things, from metal detectors to landscaping to those things, I forget what they're called, in the front so a car can't drive through, and pick the things that we thought would be the most effective for the money. So, just an update.
Any questions? Any thoughts? No? Thank you. Very good. Appreciate it. Item number 11, new business. First part is a possible vote on the following policies. We had 3 of them. Immunizations is the first one that's pretty cut and dry because that was all mandated. Purchasing procedures is the second one, and the use of regional district 13 properties and fee schedule. We probably should approve them individually as opposed to in one lump motion. So I would like to have a motion to approve the upgrades and changes to the immunization policies.
So moved.
So it's moved by Missy and seconded by?
Second.
By Bob? Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
You're abstaining?
Yes.
That would be Lindsay's abstaining. Okay, purchasing procedures. I have a motion to approve the changes to the purchasing procedures.
Lucy, there are no changes in the
Purchase, it's the
one
fees.
that's been sent out, because we're waiting for Jason's comments to clarify his position that was not available at the last meeting.
Okay, so we don't have anything. I was gonna ask about that.
We should be able to discuss it within the motion.
A motion would have to be made, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion with the purchasing
saying you don't have
procedures made by
So moved.
Lindsay and seconded by
Second.
Jason. Okay, discussion.
So from the finance committee, basically what we were saying was do the $5,000 for the 3 quotes, which that's literally just a written quote, like she did for the studies. The $25,000 would be for bids. That's going in line with many other local municipalities and school districts within the area. Because basically the way it's written now, we don't have to technically go to bid for anything. With the same exceptions, most of the stuff we purchase is on state bid list, so she doesn't actually have to get quotes or bids.
I thought it was over 50 right now. 25. Is it 25?
Yeah, it's 25.
So we're looking at $5,000 expenditures needing 3 quotes.
If available.
Yeah.
If available, I think
Yeah.
that's what you're right.
Right,
Yes.
We
because
did say
Kim
that.
couldn't find 3 that were.
If available.
Yeah.
And then $25,000 expenditures need, would it be 3 bids if available, if that's, are we
That's
doing
a
something
RFP,
that-
we go out to bid.
That's an
Yes.
RFP,
Yeah.
okay.
When we spoke at the committee though, if I might, I felt 5,000, I can do it, but I felt it is a little low. And also, like we said, 3 if available, 3 quotes, that'll be good, because sometimes I can only get 1. I think 5 is a little low because we do a lot of things. I was hoping it to be 10. Maybe it can be 10 for repairs, or maybe you can limit that down a little bit more. Maybe it's 5, or if it's something that we have in the budget, it could be 10. I was just, because it's gonna take up a lot of our time. 5,000 is not a lot when you have this much of a, you know, anytime we do software or anything like that, you're gonna take a lot of our time getting quotes at 5, but we'll do it.
I thought we discussed making it 10.
Yeah, we talked about 10, but we wanted to get Jason's.
Yeah, I was just reporting on what finance
Right.
committee said.
I just,
So-
like
So what
Kim
if-
said, I think it's gonna be hard for her to get quotes for a $5,000 job.
That's a lot of stuff.
Well, that's true. A home central air conditioning system is $6,000
Right.
or more,
Yeah.
so.
I mean,
Like
we'll
you
be
said,
spending all our
it's-
time chasing people for
Yeah,
quotes,
that's
so.
Yeah.
big
Even
waste of
10
time.
is low, but, you know, that's a compromise.
What is it now?
25,000.
Well, we bid at 25, we do not have a.
We do not have anything
quote.
under quotes.
25, we don't have to.
Okay.
And
So,
normally we do anyways, because we wanna get the
That's
quotes,
right,
so.
yeah.
We do normally get more than one quote, if we can.
But I would recommend that we have it at 10.
10?
And I'll get quotes if possible.
Yeah.
I
Right,
always
3
do.
quotes
but-
if possible, yep.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm trying to think, and maybe if I could get back to the minutes, I thought, and Jason wasn't here, I thought that we had said, it said 5, and then it was 10, and then we said, I thought we said like 75, I thought that we had like a middle in between there, did we, or am I just?
So,
I
yeah,
don't
it's 10.
remember.
Okay.
I was under the
10 sounds
presumption we
like
were
a
at
fair
10
amount.
last time.
Yeah.
10 sounds like a fair amount. So, okay, we need some help here. If we have a vote, we have a motion on the floor to approve the, did we put a motion? Approve the purchasing procedures, but we didn't list what they were.
And they're not
So-
updated.
You have it on
So we
there,
wanna-
just need a sentence in there.
We just put the sentence in, yeah.
Let's say as amended.
So
to
we're,
the-
So basically,
we're
you would
looking
have to
for
amend
an
it
amendment to the
right here.
motion to read, vote to approve the purchasing, procedures, to include $10,000 expenditures requiring 3 quotes if possible, and, $25,000 for bids.
Could I add
$25,000
with
expenditures for
existing
bids. Is that
exemptions?
correct?
Yep.
Yes,
But
with
there's existing
exemptions on the bottom stay the
Stay
same,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Literally just changing that one paragraph.
Okay, and exemptions remain the same. Okay, so we need,
You wanna
a
read
vote.
it?
Is it starting with whenever equipment or services are required? That
Yes.
one changes?
That exceeds
Essentially.
10,000.
That exceed, and we're just changing it to 10,000 instead of 25,000.
And then adding
No.
25,000 for.
So right now, we don't have a 10,000 or a 5,000 or anything.
Okay.
We just
We'd
have
be
the
adding a new
25.
sentence,
We only have
yeah.
So we're gonna keep the
25.
25 the same and then
Okay.
add a 10 sort of down, so I have quotes but not bids. So it's just sort of another step.
So
in
after
between.
number 4, before whenever equipment is where we'd add that sentence.
The sentence that begins whenever.
And why are we doing this?
Because the finance committee wanted them to.
Finance
So how-
committee
how are we gonna
recommendation to
word
get
that
more
with
in
the
line with
5,000?
local districts and towns.
So a motion to add,
I don't know, I think it's been working the way it's been, but.
three quotes. 3 quotes for $10,000.
If available.
3 quotes.
I mean, I'm comfortable with 15, but I'm leaving. So,
Thanks,
I mean,
thanks a lot.
no, but I'm just saying, like,
So we
I
have a
appreciate what
motion
Kim
to
does and I trust her. So
I know, I
I
think
understand
that's
what the
my-
town is saying, but at the same time, the town runs differently than.
And there's always that tension, they always want us to do exactly what they do.
Would we
So
do
it's
it the
coming from
same
the
way
finance
whenever
committee,
equipment
but
or
the
services are
majority of
required that
towns
exceed
and school districts
This is
operate
their
pretty much the same.
$5,000?
Most towns are
require-
5 in.
I think most of the community would be okay with 10,000. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think 10's a fair number.
Yeah.
And that's
Does
the thing.
anybody have any idea how to write this? I'm like, how we can add this, or can we just say that, Kim will-
Take a look at it.
Kim will put the wording in there.
Just write down the wording.
Kim's gonna write it.
Let's see.
I didn't write it out.
You already have the paragraph written in.
Yes, sure.
I think to Moore's point, and
I did, I
maybe
sent it to you, I
Missy's
thought.
and others,
Way to
if
pass
in
the
it-
buck on
you know,
this
you
one.
heard Kim say
It's all your
that
fault.
we're gonna give this a shot. If it
Right?
becomes overly burdensome, we will come back to you all
again.
Yeah.
Yep.
and ask you to amend it,
that's
you know. I think, but for now, I think we give it a shot and see what
Exceptions like
what
all
comes
state
of it.
stuff,
And if people feel
that's already
reassured by that, then
Right,
that's a
so
good thing.
So a lot of the
Yeah,
money is
that's
already
discussed.
spent.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff.
Yeah,
is-
give it a shot.
Can I read it and then I will help with the minutes? So really this paragraph says, whenever equipment or services are required that exceeds $10,000, a minimum of 3, if possible, quotations shall be required except in emergencies. Whenever equipment or services are required in excess of 25,000, and this is what we didn't have before, this was only quotes, a request, an RFP, request for proposal shall be issued.
So there's a motion to upgrade to change
Amend.
the
And
amend, thank you.
services
to
include
amend
any,
policy.
any services, right? That
Yeah.
general, so
But no
contracts,
services.
professional services.
Yes, except for the exceptions, there are some exceptions such as like architecture and different kinds of things, at the bottom of the policy, but basically it's all services.
Darn lawyers, man.
It includes contracts.
Yep.
Yes.
But the exceptions, contracts for professional services such as legal, engineering, architectural, auditing, those are exceptions. Purchases made through REST, state agencies, consortiums, those are exceptions, so the
So state
exceptions
agencies like
can-
CERC are an exception to that?
I don't know, I don't know the answer to that, probably because it's a state agency, but I'm not entirely sure. I could find that out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay. So do we have that? Do I have to say it again?
Yes.
So it's a motion to add to our purchasing procedure policy 3320, whenever equipment or services are required that exceed $10,000, 3 quotes are requested if available. And then whenever equipment or services are required that exceed 25,000, a minimum of 2.
No.
No?
A request for proposal must be.
A request for, you don't have that on.
Proposal
And
Must
an
be-
RFP
must be issued.
must be issued.
Except for in emergencies.
Except for emergencies.
And I'll type
Check.
that up and send it, or if it wasn't your
Yeah.
intention of this vote, we can do it, we can talk about it again next month.
Okay.
Fix it, okay.
All right. So that's what's on the table. So we're amending the motion. We didn't really have a motion. We said a motion to
It
make
was a
changes
motion
to it.
It was
So-
a motion to
amend.
accept it, but the way it's written is what we would be voting on.
Right. Okay.
The old way.
So a motion to accept the changes as we've just
So moved.
explained. Moved by Lindsay and seconded by
I'll second. for
by
Bob.
Rebecca. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh,
I'm in favor as long as it's noted that if this becomes unforeseen more work for Kim, that we revisit this
Yeah, she
number.
told us
Okay.
she would come
So I
back.
think
Yeah.
we'll
I just
put
wanted
that
to-
in the
that's
minutes
noted
after
in.
the motion that, okay, so we're all in favor? Any, okay.
Aye.
So, and also the the minutes should, reflect that, if there's any issues with this, that Kim will come forward and
Thank you.
Yeah, it
ask
could
for
be
any
revisited by the policy committee.
adjustments. Okay. So that's the second policy. The third policy was the fees. And I believe we have a copy of that. There were just some changes in the rental fees for, in category B for classrooms. It was $15, it's up to $25. This is at Coggin and Strong. And then for the auditorium there, there's some changes in that as well. And the gym and the auditorium. And the other change is at Memorial Brewster and Lyman for rental of the classroom. Has gone up as well. And I believe there's also some exceptions. There's category A has some exceptions, and those did not change.
The red is the old?
There's also.
Red is proposed.
Okay.
There's also a change on another page with regard to, rates for multipurpose track in the field complex. We have, rental for non-resident right now, resident, non-resident, but, there's also some changes for, are you changing those? The base rental
That is the proposal.
to 150 for 2-hour minimum? Okay.
Yeah, that's the proposal.
Yeah, there's some, the changes are in there in the base
And
rental.
then the auditorium too.
Yep.
Saw that too. Essentially just trying to tier the structure. Right now, we had a flat rate, and I think a lot of people, if they only needed it an hour or two, weren't gonna pay the 8-hour rental in the auditorium. They go somewhere else. So we wanna rent it, we had to do the tiers.
And the objective there would be potentially to actually increase revenue.
Revenue, absolutely.
Versus
Right.
saying, sorry, we don't want it.
Yeah, it's for our gyms too, you know, if they need 2-hour practice, we're, you know, we say, oh, you gotta take it for 6, they're not gonna take it,
Right.
so.
Mhm.
it's just-
Did policy take this one up?
Yeah, we did, we talked
Okay.
about it. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. I think when we make the motion, we could just say, because there's so many different parts to this, just a motion to accept the changes as proposed. We have to have a reference to something as proposed by the policy committee.
Yeah, but it was
For regulation
mailed out as
for
part of the
teachers.
agenda.
No, I know, I saw it, I just didn't, I didn't remember policy going through it, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you recall, I think it was the same night, and we felt like people needed more time with it. We didn't want to just ask you to do it that night, because policy had met earlier.
Oh, yeah, you're right, okay.
That's what I remember. I could be wrong.
I move to accept the proposed changes to policy 1330.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so that policy has been approved. Our next item is a vote to accept the teacher and administrator evaluation plans. Corey, maybe you could just explain a little bit about, what you had said to me about.
Sure.
Please.
So a few years ago, because of COVID, the state asked for us to adopt some flexibilities to our teacher evaluation program, and as a result, we adopted them 2 years ago, and we have ever since. So it's just kind of like a check the box type of thing. It is not anything different than what we've been doing the last 2 years. The teachers are now rated, however. 2 years ago, the teachers were not rated, so we are rating our teachers. I think you all were sent these, correct? So I'm just asking that the board adopt this as well. It's already been approved by our PDEC committee, which is our Professional Development Evaluation Committee. They've approved it, and so it needs to just go to the board so that Doug can sign off on it with the state.
So moved.
I just have a question.
Sure.
Of course.
We need a second before we.
Huh?
Second.
Oh, sorry.
Now you can
Well,
discuss. Go ahead.
If just want to clarify, so it's a vote to approve the Region 13 teacher evaluation requirements for 2022-23 and the Region 13 administrator evaluation requirements for 2022-23.
Okay, and that was my question, is it's just for this year, because Doug knows it's more directed to you. I think that I have issue, and I want to know in the future if these SLOs and the indicators are still going to be used when we're doing reimagining education, because you know that that's first and foremost on a lot of teachers' minds of if we are going to keep continuing these 45% of teachers' grades are based on the SLOs. And I don't know if you guys who are in the classroom understand what that means. So before we vote, yeah, I mean, it's fine for this year.
There's student learning outcomes, the SLOs that she's referring to.
Right, the group.
So basically, the state, you have to submit a teacher evaluation plan to the state. And there are certain criteria that the state developed. And so each district has to submit a plan to get approved by the state. So most districts kind of went with the generic state plan. Our district did as well. And so through COVID, the state recommended flexibilities to the plans. And the flexibilities just makes it slightly easier on the teachers, to be honest, with the SLOs, so that they don't have to necessarily use standardized assessments as part of their SLOs. So I believe, from what I understand, and Linda Darcy could probably back me up, that the state is moving toward changing the evaluation plan in general.
Okay, perfect.
And what that will look like, I'm not sure how innovative it will be though, Maura, so don't get too excited. But I have a feeling that it's going to change slightly, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I was part of a focus group for that, but I don't know what that will
I
look
think
like.
what my fear is that our indicators of teacher success are not going to align. So if we're going this way with reimagining education, and we're still using the state 45% of my grade is gonna, as a teacher is aligned with data, we're just gonna, I think that's gonna start being a huge problem. So,
I think that's for future discussion,
Right.
honestly,
Yeah. This is just
but
for
I hear what
the
you're,
school
this
year.
is just for
Plan.
next year, the
Yeah.
flexibilities are just for next year.
Yeah, but more to your point,
I
and
mean,
this
well,
isn't
work
just true
if
here, this
everybody
is true in
invested.
Virginia. With all respect, these state plans like you mentioned, they're still kind of rooted in the whole No Child Left Behind things, and we just haven't gotten out of that. And no one is suggesting that we shouldn't use data or student growth and hold teachers accountable, but there's so much arbitrary subjectivity in who sets the goal and where are the targets and how are classes assigned and all of that. So if you want my answer, reimagining or not, I would like to kind of blow the whole thing up and do our own thing if we don't get in trouble with the state.
You can definitely do that. Districts, a lot of
Yeah.
districts have done it very successfully. You have to, you know, again, this board will need to invest in people to help them do
would
that.
just
You'll
have to
have
be
some
approved
people
by the
around.
state, yeah.
But you definitely can, and like you said, you're gonna wanna do that. Really, I think some of the stuff we have, you're right, Doug, it was No Child Left Behind, but we also, when the legislature agreed to fund Commissioners Network and a bunch of these other lower performing, they wanted to put strings in place that were supposed to be tied to outcomes in different ways, and we had a lot of meetings with Pete and all this, that ultimately, luckily, didn't go that way, but there's a long history to that, so I think they've just kind of gotten stalled in that place, but I have not had any trouble with the districts I've worked with who develop their own plans. Because you also then you get to get your teachers and your people invested in it. You get to pilot it. You get to, it's like yours and you own it and then you grow it. And that's, I've seen that work really well. I'm sure Linda's seen that a lot more than I have, but.
Yeah, my suggestion would be to not pull anything up until the state comes out with just their new guidelines. But I agree, and I guess I can say this because I'm leaving, that I don't think the teacher evaluation system in general is very effective. And that's not on us. That's on what's been proposed to us, and but for next year, I'm just proposing that we go with the flexibilities again. I think the teachers, for the most part, at least the PDEC committee feels very comfortable with that. And to do anything relatively new, I think, would not be a good idea for next year.
And two things to that, more just that you can probably relate to, and maybe everyone can. The models are all based on research, a lot of them that are rooted in the current paradigm, which is kind of the one teacher group of children model. I think a lot of what we're reimagining is learners that are flowing in and among teachers. So certainly we want them to learn and report their progress.
Right.
But I think it's difficult to say this teacher is responsible for this learning or isn't. And I would argue even now,
it is.
It's hard
Based on the
because
structure of your classroom.
and a school wants to work as a team, and a district wants to, and parents are involved, and so that part of it. The other one though is there's plenty of evidence to show that using teacher observations and watching what the teacher is doing is not highly correlated to learner outcomes. We really need to be looking at what learning is happening, and a lot of these things are like, I come in, I observe the teacher, and I say, oh, you had your objective on the board, and that's how we all got trained. It doesn't really matter. And so that's why I say blow it up. Not that it's bad or misguided, it's just we need to think differently, and I would, to Corey's point about PDEC, ask our teachers, how should it look for you? We can't have zero accountability for your performance, but so I'm with you 100%.
The SLO outcomes were designed, in my opinion, to make lower performing districts purport to have success. And it made administration look good. Well, I'm gonna guarantee 80% of my students will achieve an 80% or higher on this. Some, thing that might not be conceivable. It should be written in such that it's not only a standardized test, you need something else, outcome-based, something maybe with your hands. We were talking about that project-based learning and all that, and that should be part of it as well.
Corey, does the union have to deal with this, teachers union? Do they have a
They
say
were,
in-
they're part of the PDEC committee, and I ran it by Craig,
So they-
because he was on a trip. So
Okay.
I did run it by him prior to him going on the trip.
In this era of retaining teachers, there's nothing more intimidating to somebody that's new to this trade, to this profession. And, we need to actually encourage people to develop lesson plans and put the time directly towards the students, not on pushing a bunch of buttons. It's awful. It really is just.
Or it totally goes against
The first
what-
few years of a teacher is absolute hell.
And it
in my
totally goes
opinion.
against what we're talking about with reimagining, because now we just create teachers who, their focus is, if we're gonna call it teaching to the test, it's true, the way that, if you know that you have to hit a mark, guess what you're gonna really focus on in the
That's
classroom?
right, teaching to the test, and when I was a teacher, we used to get training on how to impress your evaluator. Like, this is how you game the system and get a good evaluation. Like, people that never put their objective on the board would throw it up there when the evaluator is there.
We agreed there needs to be a change, but it won't be this year.
Absolutely.
So we'll wait till the state comes up with their new flexibilities, but
yeah.
Rebecca suggests we can also have our own system too.
Yeah, no, and it's not.
You
me.
can,
I've
but
just-
I would wait
I've just
and-
seen some really
Okay.
good stuff.
Thank you.
Yep, sure.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on the motion to approve these two evaluations for 1 year. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that was passed. The next vote that we have is for the bench warmers donation, which we received at our last meeting. So we have a motion to accept the $15,000 bench warmer donation for the scoreboards.
So moved.
In the amount of.
15,000.
I said 15,000. Yeah, $15,000 donation for the scoreboards. Made by John, seconded by Lindsay. Discussion? All in favor?
It's the result of an awful lot of hard work from people who volunteer their
Yes,
time.
yes. A big
Flipping
thank
bites
you.
and burgers and on and on and on.
I invite you all to help me cook some burgers at the Durham Fair. Bench
Durham
warmers
Fair?
do.
Durham Fair.
As a
Is that
bench
what it
warmer,
is?
I tell you, they do a
I
great
will
job.
Eat some of them.
I buy some burgers
We
and
could
bread.
buy them.
You just
Okay.
opened that up.
I'm sorry, did we vote yet?
I think you have to say all in favor still. Did you say all in favor?
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Good, moving on. Vote to accept the fall 2022 Board of Education and committee meeting schedules, which we looked at our last meeting, and they're only listed here for 6 months until December, and so that if we have to make any changes following that. We have one set of meeting dates for our Board of Education meeting work session schedules, which are scheduled to start at 6, which would probably be our work sessions. And we have a list of meeting schedules for policy committee only at this time. We have 3 dates.
And then we could bring up the other ones
We-
in July.
Right,
Yeah.
we're gonna continue to talk about them. I believe some of the committees, we've had a long discussion before, which we can hold off on right now, as to, you know, including some of these committees, especially achievement, possibly utilization, as part of our workshop, starting from 6 to 7, so the entire board is involved with those. That's why we don't have any specific dates for them. So, motion on the floor to approve the fall 2022 Board of Ed meeting work session schedule and the Board of Education Policy Committee meeting schedule.
So moved.
Moved by Lindsay, seconded
Second.
by Bob. Discussion?
Jason.
I'm sorry, Jason, I'm sorry, I didn't look up. Any discussion?
Yeah, on the motion, on the one you have for July 6th, normally that meeting has just been to elect new officers. I don't know if you plan to have an actual board meeting after that.
We do. I think it depends on if we may have some things on the agenda that we may have to put on there.
Okay. But
We're not
normally,
sure.
it
But
was just for
generally
that
it's for
purpose.
Yeah, it's for the new officers.
I think we have so much going on that we probably should just try to.
I'm sorry.
I said we have so much going on, I think we should probably try to meet regularly over the summer. It's just my
Yeah.
2 cents.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
once a month.
And we just might
We might
have
have
a
to.
special meeting. I don't think we
Okay.
wanna schedule any, we do have
Yeah,
a
I think
meeting
it
for
can
August
be
10th.
driven by what, like, for example, if we have the enrollment forecast back by then, I
Yeah.
don't know that
Right.
we would, that would be a great time
Or definitely
to
in
pop in a
August.
work session and
Not
share
wait for
that,
school.
yeah.
Right.
And we also
I
had the
agree.
chance to, and I had talked to Lucy about it, but part of our goals and objectives is self-evaluation for the board. So we could go into a self-evaluation and invite others in, maybe from CAVE, to do some board development, because we've got new members, newest members, new members, old members. Old members. So we can talk about that in July, at the July meeting maybe. Can we put that on the agenda to talk about?
Yes, we could do that.
Well, the other comment is that we haven't decided what to do with the other
Committees.
committees that have been established in our
Right.
policies.
We should establish that this summer.
That'll probably be on there
before the
as
school
well.
year starts.
On the July 6th meeting.
Committees. Okay.
I just wanna say,
Before you know, we'll have a very long
I'm not
agenda.
convinced of this yet, so I will abstain from voting and then we'll see how it works. Cause I think you're gonna miss some of the public involvement that have attended some of these committees, that have served on some of our committees. And you might find that, you know, they're excluded from that process. And we may have some difficulty in getting, you know, the general public involved in some of the issues that we've had before, if they're not a regular part of that process. So
And to be clear, we haven't established whether we're gonna not bring in community members. It's
I
just we
understand.
haven't had that discussion yet.
Yeah, that has to be discussed, what we're gonna do about committee members.
I'm just concerned
community
about it,
members.
and we'll abstain from voting on it.
We're not voting on it until we discuss it next.
Yeah, right, I know.
Okay.
Well, so you're gonna vote on the schedule tonight?
I think
Just the,
Yes, our vote on
just the
schedule.
regular schedule.
Just the schedule.
Right.
The regular schedule and just the policy committee meeting schedule that we have, just for 6 months. So it's only until December.
Yeah, I don't believe this precludes to the points that in July or even August, you all couldn't go in and add.
Right.
So you wanted to bring back utilization or whatever, I think you could still do that. Again, we want to get ahead of the scheduling of that in the summer, but since those committees would not typically meet until the school year starts again, I think it provides that option, but.
When you're not abolishing them, because you're not
And
changing the
we're
policy.
really
that's
way
staff.
past
Correct.
when we should have our regular meeting dates out, so
Right.
we need to do that. So. But I think there's still a lot of discussion to be had on subcommittees and involvement.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I-
I'll abstain.
Okay, we have an abstention from Bob
Two.
Moore and an abstention from Missy. Okay, the motion has passed. Okay, last vote is to adopt the strategic plan, pages 1 and 2, and then we did add to the agenda, there's 3 pages of descriptions, which I felt, well, we'll just put a motion on the floor. A vote to adopt the strategic plan, pages 1 and 2. I'm trying to see if there's a date on here. For Regional School District 13, as well as the draft of the strategies with descriptions from Reimagining Themes revised January 5th, 2022. I'd like to put that motion on the floor.
So moved.
So we have Lindsay and
Second.
Amanda. Okay, discussion. I just wanted to say, I wanted to add the drafts because someone just looking at the strategic plan, the first 2 pages, might not completely understand what they mean. We had a discussion, but not everybody else has. So that's why I thought that the strategies, the draft of the strategies at least would give some explanation to what's on the first 2 pages. And it's a draft, which means that it's going to be changed. And
Yeah,
at
can
some
I
point-
speak to this
Yes.
as well?
I just
think.
had a quick question
Yeah,
before you go, Doug. Are action teams meeting over the summer?
Yes.
Okay, so my question to that is, for the members who haven't gone through reimagining, would you feel comfortable asking any of them to get on any of those action teams and getting caught up? Because I feel like you're not gonna have anything till the fall.
I think as a member of the board, you're welcome in any of it. I think it may be difficult to plug in, as you and I talked about
Yeah.
recently. There's something
No, I
about
know.
being immersed with people for half the day, but you guys are board members, you're welcome at any of it. And I think maybe some teams would be easier to plug into than others. But yeah, we gotta keep going. We can't take the summer off for something like this.
Awesome.
And if I could, you know, when Lucy mentioned adopting the descriptions, I was a little embarrassed to say, do we adopt them, because they're really just like a bulleted list. But when she said it, I'm like, well, actually, the teams would appreciate that, because that's kind of what they're anchoring their design work to. And you're exactly right, Lucy. Even for those that have been through the reimagining, I think the mission, the vision, the strategies, the core ethical values, all of those things, and the strategies themselves, they all kind of make sense, but they're kind of at the 30,000 foot level. where the descriptors actually unpack, okay, what does that strategy actually mean? To Lucy's point, as we start making actions around these, those may change. The whole thing's a working document. The other thing I want to make sure everyone understands is we are not asking you to approve a complete strategic plan tonight. It's not complete, and there's, in my mind, and we went over this in the retreat, but that was like 6 months ago, and I don't think Rebecca was here yet. There's two major components that aren't developed yet, and I would hope we would develop the lion's share of them over the summer, and maybe that becomes a work session in August or September, or a retreat, as we've talked about. One of those would be performance measures or measurable outcomes, or whatever you want to call those, and that would basically be a list of things that we would say are indicators of success of this plan. They're what I call the so what. So we do all this learner-centered work and everybody's happy and whatever, but so what? What do we consider success? And I would point you exactly back to the thought exchange we did where families and learners told us what success looked like for them. So a lot of that will still tie to test scores and graduation rates and things that have been there traditionally. We don't set those aside, but there's lots of other things we can include. I don't want to prejudge them, but you know, there's lots of stuff we can grab out there that we just haven't, because it's not traditionally in these things. But if people want us to measure them, we measure them, and they're probably measured across those 4 domains on the first page, I would think. I don't want to say where the teams will take us, but academics, obviously, but also citizenship, wellness, and employability. I think that's important to people. That when their children graduate, that they are employable, that they're good citizens, that they take care of themselves, and obviously that they can read and write and communicate and do all those kind of academic skills. So that would come back to you. The second piece would be, and some of you have shared this with me and others have too, like, okay, we see the strategy, we see the bullets. What are we actually doing? Those are called action plans, and that's what those teams are doing. They're researching, they're making site visits when they can, now that we're out of COVID, talking to other places, and they're writing action plans. Those are going to change all the time, but not just the board, the community has the right to know what's going into those action plans, and if they're done well, by the time we get to like January and budget, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but there shouldn't be any surprises, because the lion's share of what becomes a budget priority needs to be anchored in there. It can't be like, oh, Doug just feels like saying we're going to do blah, 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 or anybody else on the staff, or anybody. It needs to be tied back to what we say we're all about. And it's not going to include everything, but it's going to definitely prioritize things. And so it won't be perfect the first year. It never has been in my experience, but if you can get to that stage, then it becomes much easier to revise and refine that part of the plan. But you all haven't seen that yet. So I just want to make sure this is not a complete strategic plan. It's simply saying to our action teams what you told me back in January to start working. Now they're starting to work harder, and we just want to know that the board supports them in trying to do this work, with no guarantee that the work is actually going to be completed the way we've designed it, because you don't know until you try.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that's done. We are down to communications, and I just have a few. All the board members have pretty much received all of these, and for budget issues, even though this is a little bit past the time, have received emails from Karen Buckley, Katie and Chad Reddick, and Katie Teachin. Eric Eckblade sent an email regarding a school incident. Timothy James, an email regarding school security questions. Bronwyn Cummins, a email regarding the committee restructuring. Chuck Stengel, regarding the student athlete commercial pay to play, which is something that's on the blocks now, that which I guess they've done with college athletes, that they can be endorsed, and I think now they're looking at possibly doing that for high school. And Danya Viola had a question about posting of minutes and policy vote clarification. And that's all I have. Does anyone else have any other communications?
Yeah, we got invited to the graduation and the press, you know, those, what time, Doug, do you know, what time we're supposed to be there and all that stuff?
I don't remember, I'm sorry. Was
is
it in
this
the email or?
High school
No.
graduation? 6 o'clock is when it starts, so
I
I
know,
would say
I mean,
quarter.
Where do we
normally the
need to be when?
procession is there earlier and.
Has
Quarter
everyone
on,
let the high
6.
school know if you're participating or not, and your robe size and all
Those are
the things
Google
they ask?
Form.
Yeah, it was a Google
Yes.
Form.
Friday the
No.
17th, is that correct?
Weather
Right,
permitting.
Friday the
Yeah.
17th, yeah.
We'll get that information out
Yeah,
to you.
just make sure people know where to, what time to be there and what happens if it's raining and stuff like that.
Anything else? I just wanted to read the thank you from Evan Clancy. He says, "Dear board members, thank you so very much for the scholarship money. It was unexpected and such a wonderful surprise. I am not the student who was comfortable joining sports teams or joining every school activity, but I always tried my best to be a good student and a kind person. It felt so nice to be acknowledged for trying to be the best that I can be. Sincerely, Evan Clancy." That's very nice. Okay, last item is public comment. Is there anyone from the public, Diana?
It's been a long meeting, I know, but I just want to mention something here. And that has to do with the $366,000 I said so far expended on security. Probably can never spend enough in a way on security. But after the Uvalde, Texas, and all that horrible outcome, I was just curious if we have the maintenance really handled well, like unfortunately where that teacher went in to the school and thought the door would have closed, locked behind her. If we have that mechanisms on any of our doors or basement, you know, deliveries, wherever things come in from the paper goods truck or whatever. Because it just is horrible to hear the kids saying, don't know about going to school today, and just had with my grandson Vinyl Tech 2 days ago. They were locked down for 30 minutes because a young student came in with 2 knives and a gun. They got him, but because of that, just it's not only the safety of the students, of course, it's the safety of the staff and teachers. And I'd just like to kind of like get the feeling that all the kids in whatever school they are, starting here locally, that they wouldn't have to recover from such an incident. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn our meeting to our executive session.
You can go
to
into
discuss-
executive session, but we're not gonna adjourn the meeting, we have to come back and then adjourn the meeting after the executive session.
I'm sorry.
We have to go.
So you do have to come back to.
Right, so you have to go into, you're gonna vote to go into
Go
executive
into
session,
executive
not
session.
to adjourn the meeting.
Not to adjourn the meeting, right. We're voting to go into executive session.
I make a motion to go into
Discussion.
executive.
There you go.
Okay, all in favor?
Mr. Stowe.
Second, aye. Thank